Hi everyone, salut à tous, boa noite todo mundo no Brasil, bună ziua, bună seara. Well, I think it's time to start a presentation. So as I was mentioning several minutes ago, well, I was about to start a presentation of the shortcuts while learning or acquire new languages. This is a very interesting topic because I use it in my own while trying to acquire new languages and make it more simple, because when you try to learn a target language and it's way difficult, you force yourself, you struggle yourself, and it becomes more and more difficult and you can just handle it. Well, a long time ago, I remember the time when I was trying to learn French for the very first time. It was so tricky at the beginning, so I was looking up for some information about the language and how should I do to do it. And it was tricky, really tricky. So I was looking up for a comparison for the previous languages I have just learned. Well, and I just felt concerned about it because I was not getting the progress I wanted. So in that case, I was thinking, what should I do? Because my French is not progressing. And what I did was, I was studying something about a history, about those languages, about French, Spanish, well, in this case, Italian as well. And I discovered a language. That language was unknown for me at that time. The language is called Catalan. I know some of them know it very well. Well, it's a very simple language to learn. It's a minority language for some people, but I don't consider it a minority language. Well, because of the speakers, but yeah, it can be. So the Catalan language was my motivation to restart with my French learning. So I just stopped learning French for a while and tried to learn Catalan. So Catalan is very similar to Spanish, so it wasn't so very difficult to me to learn it, and I found some interesting words that were similar to the French language. So I was thinking about it, why the language was so similar to French and Spanish at the same time, and so I discovered that was the languages I should have learned to complete my French learning skills. So I just started with Catalan. I felt motivated because that language isn't so hard. It's an easy language to pick up if you are a Spanish speaker. Well, so I just did it, I learned it, and after that I restarted with French. And the results were something amazing because I just could learn the French language more easily. In this case, I discovered something very interesting because a Catalan language is not so similar to the French language, but it has some similarities in vocabulary and some expressions, some uses of the words and phrases, and that was something that amazed me. So after that, what I do when I start a new language, I just look up for the simple languages that can connect one culture to another. In this case, helped me Catalan to connect the Spanish culture to the French culture, and the results were very awesome in this case because the French language, as you guys can know, is a very tricky language to learn in order to get the correct pronunciation of the word, to write the language. It's way cool. In this case, it's way cool, but it's kind of difficult language. So, well, the other aspect about learning a language, for example, if you are a Spanish speaker, or, well, in this case, a Portuguese speaking person and is trying to learn Spanish, well, if that person is getting some trouble by learning the Spanish language, well, that can start with the Galician language. It's another minority language, but it connects both cultures. It has a lot of words similar to the Spanish language, and in the other side similar to the Portuguese language. So that's something very interesting, because if you learn an easy language, you are going to learn a tremendous number of vocabulary. You're going to acquire the language easily. And your target language will be kept up more easily as well. So in order to be motivated with it, what I personally do is I try to learn, well, I can call it the easy languages in order to reach the target ones, the hard ones in this case. But another interesting aspect of shortcuts in this case is, if you, for example, if you want to acquire a great knowledge of other Romance languages, well, if you speak just one of them, it will be so easy to move into the others because of the similarities of the language. For example, the route I did is, my first language is Spanish. The second language I learned was Portuguese. After that, I learned English, but well, in this moment it doesn't count. So after the second language, that was Portuguese, I started with Italian. It's my third Latin language. After Italian, I wanted to learn French, but I stopped for a while and I started with Catalan. So after learning Catalan, I started with French. After that, I wanted to learn all the languages, all the Romance languages, because those languages are amazing. So those languages just amaze me, and I wanted to learn the last one, the hardest one, as many people call them, Romanian. Well, Romanian is a very interesting language, because if you have a great background in the Italian language, you can learn it with ease. The Romanian language. It seems so difficult at the beginning because of some of the, well, part of the vocabulary they use are words similar to the Ukrainian language and those languages for that places, but a lot of the vocabulary comes from the Latin language. So a lot of words are similar to the Italian one. So the route I did is Portuguese, Italian, Catalan, French, and afterward the hardest one, Romanian. Well, those languages are very similar one to the other, so you just doesn't have to spend much time in learning them, and they are way cool languages. But when I did that, when I just wanted to learn those Romance languages, I was amazed with those languages, and I just learned them in order to communicate with people I met there. Well, I realized of something, because all languages are connected one to each other, and the Romance languages belongs to the same family, the languages that come from Latin. So I discovered that moving from one language to another into the same family, it does your learning process more easily. So what I do now is just I try to move from one language to another between the same family of languages, and that helps me to, well, to learn fast and not have so much problem while learning some languages. The languages I'm trying to learn now and I'm trying to figure out are, well, at the moment, the Dutch language, because my target language is German. So many people told me that I should have started with German, but German is way cool, but it's way tricky as well. So as I tried at first, in this case, the Dutch language, it doesn't help, because, well, in case of the German language, sorry, well, German is so tricky. So I just tried for the very first time several months ago, and it was, well, so hard to learn it. So what I do now is just I try to, well, I just started with the Dutch language, and I feel motivated now because the Dutch language is way cool. It is not so really hard as the German language is, but yeah, it's a way cool. So I call it the bridge to learn the German language because it's my target language. Perhaps the next year I will start it. Well, as you can see, some of the languages are very similar one to another. So I just moved from the Romance languages, for the Romance family, to the Germanic languages. And I'm supporting myself with the English language, but it doesn't help much with learning languages as Dutch or Norwegian or Swedish or German because of the vocabulary is not so similar. Well, in this case, I'm using Dutch to focus myself in the near future in my learning German process.